The Houston Texans are on the road to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. My best bets are on the way for the first game of the divisional round in the playoffs. If you are new, my name's Austin. Later on in this video, we're going to be joined by two guests. The second one will be Logan. We'll talk to him about our favorite spreads and money lines in this game. The first one will be your guys' favorite special guest, and you guys should know what it is. The Broom. We went 6-0 in the wild card round. An insane weekend. We could not miss. We're going to do a victory lap, and then we'll dive into today's picks. It began with Joe Mixon's over. Sweat-free, he had over 100 yards. George Pickens over in longest reception, cash it. Then we had 3 QB unders on Sunday, all sweat-free. You didn't have to sweat out literally any of them. And then finally, we wrapped it up Monday Night Football. TJ Hawkinson's over in yards, a 6-0 week, over 5 units won. Hopefully, we helped you guys make some money. I don't know if we can do any better than that this weekend, but we're certainly going to try our best. We are doing an individual video for every single divisional round game. So if you're looking for my thoughts on all the other ones, the one for the Commanders and Lions game, that one will be posted on Friday. The ones for Sunday, I'll post those videos on Saturday. So if you're looking for my thoughts on the Ravens and Bills or the Eagles versus Rams, those videos will be posted on Saturday. Again, I'll link them all down below once they are live, as well as at the end of the video. I have a bit of housekeeping to dive into before we dive into today's picks. Last week in the Monday Night Football Rams and Vikings video, I talked at the beginning of the video wanting to give back to some people affected by the wildfires in California. So I'm going to address that right here. I'm not going to address it in every single video. We're giving back all the money we made on that Rams and Vikings video, and I'll show you exactly what that figure was. In fact, it was 186 and 75 cents. So hey, pretty solid outcome. We love to see it. We're going to give back. It's not the most amount of money, but anything helps. So if you want to donate, you certainly can donate. Where I'm going to go, I looked at all the comments. You guys recommended American Red Cross. So that's where we're going to donate our money, and that's where we are. We're going to do it right now, and then we'll dive into today's picks. I don't want to type in 186, so we'll just round up to 250. We'll cover some of these processing costs. We're going to go to the California wildfires. We're going to donate some money. Let me input this info. I'll be right back. And I'm back, and there you go. Austin O'Connell on behalf of Colin our shot, $256. Hopefully that goes back to those people and that can help make some differences. But either way, appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. Let's dive into the picks today. We only have one pick for this game, a bunch more in the other games. Dive into those. My favorite player prop for this game. Trying to continue our 6-0 run in Wild Card Weekend. Trying to go to 7-0. And I know you guys won't like this one because this is an under. Nico Collins, my best bet of the day, under 86.5 receiving yards, minus 115 on DraftKings, a 1-unit play. I'd play this down to about 81.5, 82.5. I understand fading Nico Collins could make you look like an idiot. And anytime I take an under and it loses, I get 5 times more comments than if I take an over and it loses. It is what it is, because unders, we have the ability to lose in the first quarter. That could happen. However, I really don't like this spot for Nico Collins. Now, obviously, does Nico Collins have the ability to go over? Yes, and he did so in the wild card weekend against the Chargers. But I don't like this matchup for him. And we'll talk about Nico Collins. Now, since his return, and we'll talk about his return back from injury, he's been all right, if you will. I mean, you look at it, he returned right here against Dallas, 54 yards. Since then, under in 3 of 8, and that did include a game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, in that game against the Chiefs, they had Tank Dell healthy. Who's not healthy today? Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, and I get it. Nico Collins should get a lot of targets his way. But again, Nico Collins is going to be the number one focal point of the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, who else are we going to defend? John Mechie? No, we'll leave him one-on-one. Robert Woods, we'll see if he plays. Xavier Hutchinson, again, we're going to make those guys beat us. And if you were to go to the first time these two teams played, and that was, back in week 16, this was a game where we saw actually Tank Dell have a pretty good game. Tank Dell 98 yards. Nico Collins still 7 receptions for 60 yards, even hit his over and longest reception. Still went under this line. I just don't think we're letting him beat us. We're going to double him. We're going to make someone else beat us out there. And again, in this game, if you were to go to, how many plays were run, we saw the Texans run 58 plays and the Chiefs run 70. That amount of combined plays I don't expect to be in this game. The over-under is at 41.5. The Texans team totals at 16.5. They're not very high expectations on CJ Stroud on this offense. Stroud's passing yards line is in like the low 200s, 220-ish. I just don't think Nico Collins is the one that they let beat him. I think they say, you know what? If anyone else can beat us, not Nico Collins, I will happily take his under. Might make me look like a fool. I will take Nico Collins under 86.5 receiving yards as my favorite play in this game. Now, before we dive into how I feel about this game and who I think wins and covers or the over or under, I do want to note my last note. Underdog Fantasy right now is a free square for this game. It's for Patrick Mahomes to get you one passing yard. Yeah, he's going to get that. But a reminder, the only way you get that code or that free square is if you sign up using my code COS. They will also match your first deposit up to $1,000. So not only do you get a chance, that's some free money. That's free money. They're matching your deposit. You also get this free square. You can throw it in with Nico Collins under, throw it in with some other props in the other games on Sunday, throw it in with some NBA plays for all I care. Reminder, code COS or the link down below in the description. Sign up for that. I certainly would appreciate it. But now I'm going to bring in Logan. We're going to talk about this game. All right, Logan is here to talk about this big-time Texans and Chiefs game. But first, Logan, we had to recap how you did last week, a 4-2 week. Pretty solid for you. I only went 3-3. I split. Not the greatest week for me, but 4-2, we will take that for you. And now you are a married man. So how are you feeling on this fine day?
Yeah, it's fun to be doing these as now a married man with you. So hopefully we get a little marriage boost added to the picks, and hopefully a little bit of luck, a little extra married luck goes our way.
Hey, I know your marriage brought along some great luck for us as we went 6-0 on the marriage weekend. So, hey, hopefully we can do a great time for all the props this week. You already saw my prop in this game earlier on in the video. But, Logan, what is the move in this big-time game? Should be a pretty chilly game in Arrowhead. Where are you going? Texans are 8.5-point dogs on the road, over under at 41.5. What are you doing in this one?
So for this one, last week we know I was all over the Texans. I love them in that spot. I'm not ready to jump off this Texans team, so I'll take them with the points. I know fading Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead can always be scary. I mean, it really is not for the faint of heart. Like, if you want to bet Chiefs just based off of his reputation that precedes him, go ahead and go do that. I'm going to be on Texans because I think they are – you got to pick kind of like a dark horse team that can be scrappy, that could maybe keep this game a field goal type game, and I think that's what the Texans are going to do. Let's talk about the Chiefs too. When we've seen them most of the year, are they necessarily handling their business? Are they blowing these teams out? Are they running and hiding from teams? And most often they're not. That's why they've been so bad against the spread. And getting 8.5, I think that's kind of a gift for this Texans team. I mentioned all the offensive pieces. Last week we saw them click. Obviously, it helps when you're able to turn the opponent over, which we've seen Patrick Mahomes be a little loose with the football at times this year. Obviously, playoff Patrick Mahomes is a different level, but can the Texans get one or two maybe turnovers, really flip this game on its head? I think they can. Joe Mixon is a running back that he's a veteran. He knows exactly how to run. He knows how to keep the Texans are going to want to play keep away against Patrick Mahomes. That's what they're going to want to do. They've got the guys to do it. I mentioned Nico Collins. I mentioned Joe Mixon. They got the guys. Hopefully they can execute and tune out that very loud Arrowhead crowd.
Yeah, and this one, I do kind of lean the Texans with you, but I actually like the under a little bit more. I just am not too confident in CJ Stroud and this offense to put up points. I'm looking at his props. Him to throw 2 touchdowns is plus 200. So they're pretty low on the Texans offense here. And on the flip side, the Chiefs offense, I mean, I don't think they've scored 30 points at all this season. In my opinion, this field game, and I don't know if it plays out like it, feels very similar to that Steelers and Chiefs Christmas Day game that was just an ugly one all around, where the Chiefs ended up, winning and blowing them out late in that game. I just think this is a lower scoring game. We know the Chiefs, when they get up in the playoffs, they aren't going to be, trying to pour on the scoreboard like some other teams do. They just kind of you'll end up with some 8-minute drives where it's just like Kareem Hunt for 3 yards. They convert on 3rd down. Then it's another 10. That's just what they do. I would be curious to check how many drives they've had that have been over 5 minutes. I bet you they lead the NFL. I think this is a slower paced game. 41.5 is a pretty dang low total, though, so there's not a lot of wiggle room in there. We're going to need some field goals. But, again, I like the under here. I just don't have a lot of faith in that Texans offense. Hey, we both were kind of back in the Texans last week, and they treated us nicely. I don't know. This game feels weird. I do know the Chiefs' money line is going to be in every single parlay, though, this weekend, so maybe going against that's not the worst thing in the world to do.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs, I asked myself, record-wise, they're great. But are they a little bit vulnerable? Is this their strongest team they've ever had? I don't think so. Hopefully Houston can capitalize on that.
Yeah, I think we'll see exactly that happen. So either way, that's the first game of Wildcard Weekend. We have an individual video for every single game, so I'll link those on the screen once they are live. Go check them out. You'll find our best bets, and you'll find Logan and I talking about each of these games there. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.